And so Jonathon sat uncomfortably, sipping his tea in this grand, eccentric, old-fashioned room crammed with new technology. He still had no idea what the company did, but he desperately wanted to work there.
"Oh, good Lord," said Gus. "You like Tennille and Sambourne."
Was it the last straw? First the proactive team player thing, and now this? Well, Jonathon could not bear to deny it. The bit about these two illustrators was virtually the only part of his CV that felt like it had anything at all to do with him. "Yes," he said stoutly. "They're my favourites." "Then all is forgiven. I have a small album of Tennille illustrations which I shall show you at some juncture. But if you're a qualified illustrator, why have you been—" Gus peered at the screen. "Programming databases in Microsoft Access." "Because I like drawing, and I don't know how to get anyone to pay me to do it. And then, well, it seems so niche and embarrassing, putting lots of time and effort into drawing pictures of rabbits in waistcoats when everyone else is being proactive team players and internet billionaires. And after university, I didn't have any money or anywhere to live. I suddenly realized what the real world is like, so I gave up my dreams and started temping. I decided to be sensible and rational, like everyone was telling me to, and get a proper job, a flat, a pension." "I see. Unfortunately, this means putting your faith in corporations, banks, and, via pension fund managers, the stock market. Some of the most profoundly irrational institutions ever to exist." Jonathon thought unhappily of the headcount freezes, empty floors, fake trading and flip charts saying shareholder value. There was really nothing he could say to this. "But let us get back to the issue at hand," said Gus. "I have a job to give someone. You are looking for a job. It may not be quite what you were looking for, but I feel it's more likely to interest you if I explain what it is." Jonathon did not stop Gus to explain that he had no alternatives and was prepared to do absolutely anything. "Of course," Gus continued, "there would be a probation period to see if you are quite right for it, but on with the explanation." He stopped, looked at Jonathon, and Jonathon nodded. "I am completely unable to draw," said Gus. "But the niche and embarrassing thing that I like doing is thinking. I have ideas. People pay me, us, Albatross, to have ideas for them. For example, what do you know about whale song?" It's what whales sing," hazarded John. "Exactly so. It has two particularly interesting properties. The songs can travel almost 2,000 miles through the sea, and while they gradually change, old ones never recur. Thus, if an old one did recur, we would know that it was not started by a whale. So, we're working with an aircraft company on a device that broadcasts old whale songs if the plane crashes at sea, so the rescuers can find it." "That's amazing." "Of course, a lot of our work is less interesting. It was our idea to add wheels to suitcases, for example, and signs of wear to new jeans. We also designed placebos, an enterprise which led us into the communion wafer business. And there are hundreds of other things, large and small, that we do. I shan't interest you with them now, but I am growing older and would like to contribute something more to the world. I want Albatross to come up with ideas for solving social problems, then test them, and put either them into practice or hand them over to other organizations." "Won't that be expensive?" "Phenomenally so. I hope that the enterprise will ultimately pay for itself, but getting it going will require a lot of capital, which I'm working on acquiring. We're about to float Albatross on the stock market. I have the prospectus we wrote for potential investors somewhere." Gus briefly hunted about through some piles of paper. "Meanwhile," he continued, abandoning the search,